What is up, you guys? Thanks so much for clicking on today's video. I was just flat ironing my hair and I was like, you know what? I could talk about how I don't count my days in my recovery. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Maybe I'll even start like a little series of things that I do differently than what a lot of people do in their recovery, okay? But definitely the first thing that I'm going to talk about is how I do not know my recovery date. I know there are people who know their date down to the second. Like there's apps out there that let them know down to the second. And I know people are extremely proud of their recovery date. And especially you'll see like content creators who are constantly putting their date in their content, telling people, drop your date down in the comments. Like recovery dates are super popular in recovery culture. For me, I stopped counting my dates like many relapses ago for that reason. Like I was tired of the date changing. My date was constantly changing. I was constantly struggling just to make it past 30, 60, 90 days. Like I got tired of it. I got tired of changing it. So I stopped counting. And the only reason that I'm able to figure out like the years of my recovery, and here's the other thing too, is that like I have two dates that are important to me, right? Now I know that in 2013 was the last year that I woke up physically like dependent, like physically addicted, like dope sick, like completely strung out. 2013 was the last year that occurred, right? But then when my husband got out of prison in August, like 5 years ago, we ended up having, we weren't using like every day, but we were trying to use around his drug tests for probation. And there was just like I ended up overdosing, but like we're still trying to use here and there. But then he ended up getting a couple of dirty UAs, was about to get sent back for 3 more years. And since he had just done 9.5 years, we were like, all right, like let's get our shit together. And so I know that was January of like from when he got out, that August, right? So that's how I'm able to figure out that it was 5 years in January, this past January. So lucky for me, I have those type of markers, because the 2013, the reason that I'm able to remember that date is because the day that I was leaving here to go to treatment for the last time was the day that they were looking for the Boston Marathon bomber, and I was staying on like the Watertown-Waltham line and didn't know if I was going to make it to the airport. Like I used to have to Google it, like what year that was, but now I remember it's 2013, but I still don't know the exact date because I didn't get sober like that day, like there was still days of using before I did go to treatment, so whatever. But yeah, I don't think that everybody has to know their date. In fact, I know everybody doesn't have to know their date because I don't, and I know there's other people who don't have their date, but I also know other people who don't know their exact date but have kind of picked one that they thought was their date because of the social norm, recovery norm of everybody always knowing their date and talking about their date. But I think we should normalize that not everybody knows their date, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that their recovery is any less important or significant. The biggest thing that I learned after walking away from 12-step recovery for good was that recovery is not a 12-step for everybody fix all. Like it is a very individualized process, and what works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay, so yeah. I don't know, that dog, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like a dog barking outside. Oh, it just stopped now, but it just really messed with my train of thought. So you hear him? annoying. So anyways, if you made it this far, thank you. I know that I was kind of boring today. I don't know, I'm kind of having a funky day. Like, I had so many things that I thought I was going to accomplish today, and now looking at the time, it's like, nope, I'm not. So I was like, I at least have to record something. So here it is. And yeah, I have a lot of shit that I want to talk about, but today was just not the day. So anyways, I hope that you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.